Dreams we didn't know we had.
I dreamed a dream I'd see Weird Al.
We're going to dream the impossible dream.
Yes.
No, we're actually going to go to Get Laid, an LA benefit for fire victims and first responders, where we are going to see Weird Al Yankovic.
Dude, Weird Al and Eric Idle.
That's the one for me. Eric Idle is, I mean, like so many of us, I've grown up with his work.
Yes.
And he is just...
He's foundational to, like, a lot of people's sense of humor.
And he's one of those people that, like, I'll never see him live.
Yeah.
So I never even dared to dream that I'd see Eric Idle live. So quite literally the impossible dream. And then, of course, Bob the Drag Queen, which is an infinitely more obtainable dream.
Yeah.
But to get an attainable dream with an impossible dream in this dream sequence.
Exactly.
But in case you didn't know where you are, this is not, oh my god, we're going to go do a cool thing later tonight hour.
We're going to see Weird Al Yankovic.
So we'll talk about it more next week. I am Samara.
And I am Jeannie.
And this is Talk Deadly to Me. Oh, Jeannie, do I have a story for you?
I am so ready. I need some dysfunction that isn't the government or my life.
I can do that.
Yay! Thank you.
Have you ever heard of Cindy, Campbell, Ray, and David West?
Wow. Those names, they sound like very much like a Southern couple. But I've never heard of them.
Well, they are
Cindy,
from Texas.
Campbell, Ray. Ah!
Now, the hardest part of writing this script was actually not calling her Cindy Ray Campbell, because I feel spiritually that's the order that these names should go. But Campbell is her maiden name. Ray is a married name.
Yeah.
So, that was...
Billy Ray and Cindy Ray.
Yeah, like it got switched around a few times because of where I feel it should go. But we'll start these things where we always start at the beginning.
Yay.
With the Campbell family.
Good.
Not the soup people. Not the soup people. I mean, I do love a good Campbell soup, a little tomato and a grilled cheese sandwich. Not bad. Mm-hmm. So James Campbell is a Texas lawyer who was equal parts good old boy country lawyer.
Yeah.
And slime-ridden trickster lawyer.
Ew.
Depending on who you ask.
Okay. Who does he slime?
We'll get there.
Okay.
One thing that was never in dispute, though, was James Campbell's success as a civil litigator.
Okay.
Where most people in his position would try to, as often as humanly possible, take on these massive, multi-million-dollar cases. Like, he's in that world of civil litigation where you want the $8 million slip and fall at Walmart. Mm-hmm. You want the $10 million wrongful death thing from a hospital. You want these huge cases. No. James Campbell is content with the kind of cases that more ambitious lawyers would consider dogs. He'll take that $3,000 slip and fall for the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
He'll take that $5,000 accident claim. Mm-hmm. He'll take these smaller ones. Because they brought in more than enough money, at least for what he wants, and not so much money that he was always in the papers or getting attention. I think we've learned from former Democracy Daddy, what the fuck was his name now?
You got me excited with Democracy Daddy.
Not anymore. I used to call him Democracy Daddy. Michael...
Oh. Yeah.
I'm going to say Strahan, but I know I'm wrong because he hosts Good Morning America.
Exactly,
now.
Yeah.
Avenatti. Michael Avenatti.
Yeah, he represented Stormy Daniels
for the hottest minute, and then he just went completely off the rails, and now he's in jail for fraud.
Yeah.
But, like, Michael Avenatti is also the type of lawyer that will take these huge civil cases.
Yes.
And get himself in the paper.
Yeah.
And whatever shady shit he's up to is going to get pushed all to the front because he's in all the papers.
Yeah.
And so James Campbell's like, nah. That is not the life I want for me. I do small cases with good payout, and I do enough of them to make a mighty fine living.
Yes.
James was a big, burly man with a raucous sense of humor who ran his practice with his wife, Virginia, who was his paralegal. Virginia was a tiny woman, itty bitty thing.
Yeah.
If she weighs 120 pounds,
Wow.
I'm doing big things because she might be tinier than that.
A mere slip of a girl.
With a tiny humpback. She had a cute little humpback.
Cute.
Well, because it's from 20 years of being hunched over typewriters before we understood what it was to be ergonomically stable.
Yeah.
So,
True.
you know, but her and James, like, met in college, and this has just been their life.
Yeah.
For like 1,000 years now. The Campbells are prosperous, but live fairly modestly for people of their income bracket.
Yeah.
They have a lovely home in one of the better Houston neighborhoods. They got a nice car. You know, both James and Virginia get a new Cadillac every year. Yada yada. But where most of the homes that surrounded them are these like massive Victorian mansions and shit like that. The Campbell's home was kind of like this concrete slab that you could mistake for either a prison or a museum.
Okay.
But it was designed by a very fancy architect.
Okay.
Like, it's very weird. So they got money.
Yeah.
But they flaunt it in different ways.
Yeah.
Everybody else has the crazy fancy Victorian mansion. They got this very fancy concrete slab built by a very fancy architect.
Okay.
I mean, it's a flex, but in Texas, not the right flex. Right? I think in Texas, people would be more impressed by your Victorian.
Probably, until they walk into your home.
Actually, even the inside of their home, depending on who you ask, is not as lavish as it could be. It is, outside of the fact that they hired a fancy architect to design the thing, it is a very, like, middle working class house.
Okay, cool.
Even though they did spend a lot of money on getting it built. It's well decorated but dated. Like, they built the thing in the 70s and haven't changed shit since.
Okay.
But like I said, they drove nice cars. Both Jim and Virginia get a new Cadillac every year. And their cars are, again, nice, but not flash.
Well, I mean, this sounds like upper middle class. Like, just getting into it. This is clearly a professional household. Because, like, they're not driving a Toyota or a Ford. It's a Cadillac. And it's the updated one every year.
Yeah.
That's a nice life.
Where most well-heeled families like spending their money on the latest gadgets, Ferraris, this, that, and the other, new furnishings every year, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Jim and Virginia Campbell preferred to spend their considerable income, because they bring in multi-millions of dollars, on raising their 4 daughters and spoiling those kids senseless and giving their family a nice life.
Nice. That's a good way to spend your money.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, why are these multimillionaires living in such a average way? Well, because they want to take their 4 daughters on European vacation. And that's where they would rather spend their money.
Yeah.
So on the surface, everything in the Campbell family looked perfect. However, inside of their concrete mansion, the walls were filled with turmoil.
Oh, no.
With most of the drama centering around their second youngest daughter, Cindy.
Okay.
Cindy was a wild kid who would grow into a problematic teenager and just a fucking mess of an adult.
Oh, shit.
As kids, Jamie, who was the youngest of the Campbell girls, named after her daddy.
Cute.
He sires only girls.
Good for you, sir.
He'll never get a Jim. The best he can have is a Jamie. And you know what? He's happy with that. He don't care. But I did think it was cute that he was like, well, can I get one named after?
Yeah.
Can we at least do that?
Yeah.
So as kids, Jamie, the youngest of the Campbell girls, would bear the brunt of Cindy's abuse.
Oh, poor Jamie.
In later interviews, Jamie would wonder if Cindy had it out for her because Jamie's birth meant that Cindy was no longer the baby of the family.
Yeah, now she's just a middle.
Or is she just stark raving mad? Both things can be true and neither are mutually exclusive.
That's true. I contend that she wouldn't be so upset about no longer being the baby if she was, like, well balanced.
True story. As I said, both things can true and I can do one without the other. But in the cold, harsh light of day, Jamie could never come up with a solid reason for why Cindy was such a fucking monster. It makes no sense.
Yeah, sometimes people just, all their puppies ain't barking. They're just missing something in that cabinet.
When they were kids, Cindy would terrify Jamie with the idea that their house was haunted.
Okay, that's funny. Okay.
Cindy is 9 and Jamie is 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Cindy would wake Jamie up in the middle of the night telling her, I saw a black nun. A nun dressed all in black.
Yeah.
I submit all nuns are dressed in black.
True.
But I think she's looking for, even though she doesn't have this frame of reference, the nun. From the movies. Which are very Scooby-Doo, but that's just...
Yes.
There was a scene at the end of the first Nun, where she looked straight up like a Scooby-Doo villain, where I just want to rip off her rubber mask and be like, oh my god, it's Mr. Campbell.
Right? He's trying to sell this property by scaring everyone off. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks exactly like that, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she scares 4-year-old Jamie to death with that shit.
Okay.
Cindy had also once choked Jamie to the point of unconsciousness.
Dang. Okay, the first one, that can be normal sibling shit. Scaring your little with stories of ghosts. That's hilarious. It can't go too far, but physically choking someone to the edge of unconsciousness is psycho.
And Cindy told Jamie, if you tell, I'm going to tell Mama and Daddy that you tried to strangle me first, so I had to strangle you back.
Okay.
If you choke me, then I'll choke you back.
And when you're little, you'll believe that. Yeah, that you'll get in trouble.
Cindy's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That is nuts.
Even at this age, at 9, 10 years old, Cindy could be such a convincing liar that Jamie decided that it was best to just hide her bruises.
Oh.
Because she's getting wailed on and beat up on by Cindy fairly constantly. Cindy does the same shit with their older sisters, but since the two oldest are bigger, faster, stronger, Cindy has to be content with emotional manipulations and doing things to make the two older girls fight, because the two older girls can beat her ass.
Yes.
And it's Jamie that she physically abuses. Cindy would tell Jamie that their father loved Cindy, but hated the other girls.
God.
Betty and Michelle being the two oldest, he hates them most of all. The only person Daddy hates more than you is Betty. Maybe Michelle. Hates you all, only loves me.
What a little cunt.
Over time, Jamie and the two oldest quit making excuses for Cindy and just accepted the fact that she is completely unhinged. And she enjoys this game of turning the family against each other.
Yeah.
So while Jamie gets a lot of physical abuse from her, everybody else, including the parents, Cindy's doing shit like she'll ruin somebody's blouse and ruin Betty's blouse, blame it on Michelle. So she can make Betty and Michelle fight.
Yeah.
Then she'll steal Michelle's homework and then rat on their parents that Michelle didn't do a chore or didn't do her homework. So now Michelle's in trouble with Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Dad tells Mom that, well, I got a meeting at 5 o'clock and then I'm going to go have a whiskey. And then Cindy will go tell mom that she heard from so-and-so that daddy never went to get that whiskey. Mm-hmm. Daddy was at someplace he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. So just an agent of chaos.
Yes. And if you have one in your family, good God, you know how difficult these people can be.
Yeah.
It's like you want to love them.
But you can stop talking to them.
Oh, fuck yeah. It's like you want
love
to
them from afar.
You want to love them, but you just can't.
Yeah.
Because they're filled with so much piss and vinegar.
Yeah. Love yourself more.
Yeah, love them from afar is what you do with these levels of agents of chaos.
But there's nothing you can do with your children in this house.
No.
Or with this person is like the minor that is in your keeping.
Like, basically for 18 years, you gotta deal with this little agent of chaos.
Psycho. Yeah.
And then hopefully she just leaves the house and learns better in some old kind of way. Cindy was no doubt a pain in the ass, but she was also a very imaginative kid. Well, couldn't talk for a second.
Liars can be.
And a very talented artist.
Oh.
Once Cindy told her sisters that she was the reincarnation of Marie Antoinette. And then she used their Ouija board to declare that, so Cindy's the reincarnation of Marie Antoinette. And to prove it, she puts out the Ouija board. And through the Ouija board, the spirit of Marie Antoinette confirms that Cindy is the outcast of the family and all you other sisters are bitches. For what you do. The spirit of Marie Antoinette wants you other three girls to know that you're fucking bitches.
Yeah. Cindy is a very special girl. Croissant.
I think it goes without saying that Cindy needs more attention and parenting than her three sisters.
Yeah. I don't know. What is there any amount of parenting and attention that will satisfy this?
And that is the problem, because Cindy is a black hole of emotional need, and no amount of attention or buying her things or hugging on her or loving of her is going to be enough.
Oh my God. Man, if we could cure that, we could cure cancer too.
Man. In later interviews, Jamie would say that growing up, almost everything in the family revolved around Cindy's needs.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
When Cindy had to have her appendix taken out, no fault of her own, but Cindy made such a huge deal out of it that the Campbells had to cancel Betty's confirmation.
Really?
Yeah. Cindy made such a fucking stink that Mama and Daddy were going to leave her in the hospital for the 90 minutes it took to go to the church for another sister's confirmation, that her parents flat out canceled the confirmation.
Dang.
So that they could deal with Cindy.
Yeah.
They couldn't do both. Cindy wasn't going to have it. Cindy was going to make their lives so fucking miserable for not being there for her appendectomy 24/7 that they thought it was better to just cancel. It got rescheduled.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's just like, that is so incredibly unfortunate.
Betty eventually...
Because I know what goes into confirmation. It's a year-long process.
Betty does eventually get confirmed. She is eventually confirmed.
Yeah.
But her original confirmation date is canceled.
That is so sad.
Because Cindy had to get an appendectomy.
That is so sad. I'm sad for her. No, because she couldn't... It's like you didn't get to graduate with your class.
Yeah.
You got held back a year. I feel bad for her. That's awful.
And she was very upset, but what could she do? She knows what a fucking unholy nightmare terror her sister is.
She knows what a cow she is.
And she knows that if her parents don't rearrange this confirmation and go anyway, when Cindy gets out of this hospital for this appendectomy, she is going to make everybody's life a living fucking hell.
Yeah. Or they'll just hear about it for the rest of their lives.
Both things are true. They do hear about it for the rest of their fucking lives. And she would have been an unholy terror if it hadn't been rescheduled. So, yes, I feel bad for her. for Betty that her confirmation had to get moved.
Yeah.
But I think on some level, Betty understands.
Yeah. If only.
As a teen, I think it almost goes without saying that Cindy was a monster on wheels.
Oh my God.
She's choking her baby sister out unconscious when she's 10.
And now she's high on hormones.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Cindy ran away often.
Good. That must have been such a relief.
For her 3 sisters. Yes. Yes. Anytime Cindy ran away, the other 3 girls were like, thank fuck.
Ding dong, the witch is gone.
But James and Virginia Campbell are decent people and they want to be good parents.
Right?
So every time Cindy ran away, she would send out her parents on these endless chases looking for her.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, they want to be decent.
Yeah.
And they can't let this little monster go.
No, what if she hurt someone?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In 1972, when Cindy was 18, she ran off to Colorado,
Wow.
where she met a man named Michael Ray. Hence the Cindy Campbell Ray.
Got it.
That relationship lasted long enough for Cindy to give birth to 2 little boys.
Oh.
And Cindy eventually left Michael Ray and brought her 2 children home to Houston for her parents to raise.
Okay. Good.
Eh.
Hey.
I mean, yes, it is better for those kids, but
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Okay.
Cindy made a half-hearted attempt at trying to be a mom, but in the end, Jim and Virginia are just like, just give me those fucking kids.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, I don't see, like, based on what we know of this woman so far, I don't see her dealing well with, like, people who are demanding attention from her.
No.
People with needs.
No. She cannot, she does not.
Yeah.
The drama didn't stop once Cindy had children
Of
and entered
course
her 20s.
not. This is a crazy that's fermenting. Yeah.
Cindy would spread lies all over town, and if her parents or siblings called her out on her shit, Cindy would threaten to run away, and the family would just back down.
Really? I'd be like, don't threaten me with a good time.
I think that's what her sisters said.
Yeah.
And her parents were like, no, we can't let her out of the house.
Yeah.
We can't inflict her on the wider population.
Also, her kids need to see her every now and then.
I mean, I'm sure it's nice when they do, but not really.
Yeah. Well, they sound like normal people, and it sounds like they want a normal. They want her to be normal. They want to do normal things. A normal person would want her not to run away.
Exactly. Jim and Virginia tried everything they could to help Cindy, and to say that she is overindulged is an understatement. But nothing worked. Time after time, Cindy would run off, then call her parents desperate. Please, Mama, send money. I need a plane ticket home. I need a bus ticket home.
Yeah.
I need something, give me money. And then the parents would send the money. Cindy wouldn't come home. She would just spend the money.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, another, Mama, Daddy.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again until finally Cindy decides to come home, and then she eventually uses the plane ticket or whatever to come home. Sure. And
Rinse and repeat.
for 25 plus years.
Yeah. Oh, these poor people. Ugh. She sounds like a chore.
So when all of this comes to a head, we're talking about a year, maybe an 18-month snapshot in time. And even through all of that, Cindy is way too overindulged.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jamie, Michelle, and Betty often wondered why their parents didn't just disown Cindy. Get rid of her.
Yeah. Easy. It's easy for anyone else to say. Until, it has to be hard to, like, disown a kid or, like, disconnect from a child.
Well, Virginia would tell her girls that they love Cindy and not just when she's good.
She's never good?
I can't find it. I can't call it.
Yeah.
When Jamie was on the tail end of her high school career, Virginia and Jim decided to take Jamie and her older sister Michelle. Betty had already gotten married and stuff. Betty's like the oldest, then Michelle, Cindy, then Jamie. Which is why Michelle was offered to go on this European trip with Jamie.
Cool.
You know, Cindy's got 2 little boys. She got shit to do, in theory.
Yeah.
She's got shit to do, so why not take the middle and the youngest? When Cindy heard about the trip, she hit the fucking roof.
Oh, no doubt.
She demanded that she be allowed to come. And Virginia was like, okay, but if you come, then who's going to take care of your sons? You know, you're their mother. And so while we leave this house, the responsibility for these children is on you.
Yeah.
And Cindy wouldn't have it. She pitched such a fucking fit. Nobody went to Europe. Nobody went. Trip got canceled.
You know what? I'm actually good for them. It's like, you know, one day those girls will be out of the house and they can go to Europe on their own. Cindy doesn't deserve it.
Or we can arrange once you're old enough and out of the house, we can arrange this family trip, San Cindy.
Exactly.
If that's what you want.
No, it's better not to go to Europe than let Cindy ruin Europe.
Oh, because Cindy will ruin Europe.
Oh, God. Could you just imagine? She's just like the ugliest American. They can't let her go out there in front of like first world countries, civilized people.
And she stank.
Acting like that.
And she stank too.
Oh, God.
And I'm not saying this to be facetious. We'll talk about it in a minute, but she stank.
I believe it.
She don't bathe.
Oh, Jesus.
She don't brush her hair.
Oh, my God.
She doesn't believe in deodorant.
Oh, no.
But she likes perfume.
Oh, God. Yikes.
The stank ass, greasy
nightmare.
Mean, ornery. Just, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Cindy Ray. During the holidays, Cindy was notorious for taking her gifts and then returning them for cash.
Oh, God. That is so tacky, but that's funny.
You know how like when people say that when you give a gift, once it's out of your hands, you have no control over what the person does with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
She takes that to the most ridiculous conclusion. Because when people go, well, why did you return all this shit for cash? She would say, well, you gave me the gift, and once you give it to me, you have no control over what I do with it. Which is true, but she takes it to the most asshole conclusion. Yeah. I don't think that's what people mean.
Yeah.
I think people mean, like, if I give you this outfit, I no longer have control of how you style the sweater. And if you style the sweater in a way that is unpleasing for me, I have to deal with it. I don't think they mean you just return all my shit for cash. Because you're a money grubbing bitch. I don't think that's what people mean when they say that, but that's the route she takes. Which I guess she's right in theory, but that's still a dick move.
I mean, no, she's right in theory, but to return everything all the time, that's
for the cash.
Yeah.
That's a dick move.
Yeah.
In later interviews, Jamie said that Cindy was always had to be first. No matter what was happening in the family, she needs to be there first. She needs to be the first person with a birthday cake, even though she's third in line for a birthday. She needs to be the first person to be asked for something, the first for anything.
Ugh.
No matter what else is happening in the family, everybody got their own lives, but Cindy needs to be taken care of first. I think saying that Cindy is a pain in the ass is an understatement.
Yeah.
Now,
I think I've never personally run into someone this awful.
Oh, she's going to get worse.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Like, she is quite the outlier.
Oh, yeah. When it comes to Crazy Town, it's like, what the? Why? Yeah. And she's like crazy and mean for no good goddamn reason. Because there is nothing that she scams that her family wouldn't have given her.
Mm.
No matter whether she was crazy or whether she got her shit together.
Yeah.
They would have given. All of the Campbell girls, I think, are spoiled, overindulged.
Yeah.
But the three of them are still normal people.
Yeah.
It's only this one that's completely off the deep end.
Yeah.
By 1980, Cindy had returned home from yet another misadventure with her two sons. Mm-hmm. She's home again. Once back in the family home, Cindy wasted no time being a pain in the ass to baby sister Jamie and their parents. Cindy had barely been home for a week or two before she tried attacking Jamie and their mother, Virginia. Mm. Like, in the driveway, she was, like, gonna fisticuffs with them.
Yeah.
Cindy had gone after Jamie with a roundhouse punch.
Wow.
But Jamie had avoided the punch by jumping into the family Suburban.
Nice.
But when Cindy couldn't get to Jamie, she started focusing her attack on Virginia. A little tiny 100-pound hunchback.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now Cindy's going to beat up Mom. Well, Jamie's not going to let that happen. Mm-hmm. So Jamie stepped in and she put the truck into gear.
Yeah.
In the Suburban. She was going to run her over.
Good for you, Jamie.
Jamie was going to run her older sister over with the family Suburban that she had just jumped in to hide from connecting a roundhouse punch.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't have the keys. The car is turned off, but she still dropped that fucker in gear. And was out to try to run Cindy down. But before Jamie could get the car all the way into gear and run her sister over, at least pin her to a wall.
Yeah.
Cindy stopped the attack on Virginia before running in the house. And right before she ran in the house, she looked at Jamie and her mother and she said, "Bitches!" And then she ran into the house.
Oh my God, it's a rabid animal.
Like some sort of evil porcupine.
Yeah.
Bitches! Scamper, 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 scamper. And, ooh, Virginia's a better person to me because I would have dragged that bitch out by her greasy hair and stomped a mud hole in her ass before kicking her out to the street and lying and said that she ran over by a car.
Right?
But a few hours after this incident happened, their father, Jim, pulled Jamie aside and told her that her grades were not up to par.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, her grades aren't up to par because part of one of the things that Jamie has to do is take Cindy to school.
Ugh.
They're enrolled in the same place. And that is partially why Jamie's grades are so bad.
Yeah.
But instead of coming into the room to comfort her younger sister about getting reamed about her grades, Cindy told Jamie, "You know what? We're better off without Daddy.
What?
We should kill him."
Oh my God. Lunatic.
And Jamie is like, "All right, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is insane. Yeah, my grades aren't the best, but they're because of you, simple bitch.
Yeah.
I will deal with Father.
Yeah.
No murders will be involved in how I deal with them." Now, Jamie told Cindy it's crazy. She will deal with their father. But she's not going to kill the old man.
Right?
Over grades. But Cindy was like, but we should. Because Cindy has a plan, girl.
Oh, God.
All they needed to do was dress up like men and wear heavy boots and smoke Marlboro Red cigarettes to really drive home the fact that it's a man, because apparently only men can make bad smoking decisions. And then they would throw the butts of the Marlboros around and it would look just like a man that broke into the house.
Oh, my God. This is so simple-minded.
This is called foreshadowing in the writing biz.
Aww.
Jamie told Cindy that you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then she left the room. Because she's like, I'm gonna go figure out how to deal with Dad and the grades.
Yeah.
But what I'm not gonna do is entertain whatever this crazy
I'm
shit.
not indulging it.
No. So Jamie walked down the hall and she saw their mother. Virginia had this horrifying, panic-stricken look on her face. Mm-hmm. And Jamie realized that her mother had overheard their conversation.
Oh.
Which included a murder plot.
Yeah.
Against their father. So poor Virginia's just standing there like gobsmacked, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's the crazy one. Do I do something?
Yeah.
Or not? Because she's crazy. Jamie decided to call her older sister Michelle for some advice on how to deal with Cindy's latest bout of insanity.
Yeah. Escalation, I would call it.
But Michelle wasn't home, so Jamie told the story to Michelle's roommate, and the roommate told Jamie, just call the cops.
That's good advice.
I think anybody that's a roommate to Michelle Campbell has heard the crazy Cindy stories and is just like, full stop, call the police. I've been telling Michelle that for years.
Yeah.
I don't know why y'all don't call the cops on this crazy bitch.
I think it's like it's a frog in the pot thing. It's like when it's the psychosis starts really young, it's manageable, and then you get used to it. Like poor Jamie is just so used to being beat on.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't get really mad until like that violence is turned on her mother. And she's about to turn on her. And her mother isn't freaking out until it's like there's talk of murder. I can just see these people being so used to dealing with things that the rest of us would never put up with. Would stop talking to this person. Rot in the street, bitch.
Yeah, but they're crazy Cindy.
Yeah.
So Jamie started thinking about her grades after getting off the phone with Michelle's roommate. And yes, she was still upset that her dad was disappointed in her.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
She decided it ain't her fault.
No.
There is no way that anyone on God's green earth should be expected to deal with Cindy and turn in good grades. You just can't.
Yeah.
You cannot expect me to deal with this and focus on my studies.
Yeah.
You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Because, see, when Cindy came back home to the family, Jim and Virginia Campbell decided that it would be good for Cindy to go back to school. Mm-hmm. The only problem is that at 25 years young, Cindy does not know how to drive. Never learned, refuses to learn.
Okay.
And so since Cindy refuses to learn to drive, the Campbells put Jamie in charge of getting Cindy back and forth to school since they were enrolled at the same, the Midtown campus at St. Thomas University is where they go. So you're going to the same place, take your sister to school, make sure she gets to classes.
Oh, I mean, I get they have to go to work and shit, but to parentify the youngest to look after the psycho.
So, what, they're like 4 or 5 years apart. Jamie's like 20, 21 to Cindy's 25.
I know. Pathetic. Pathetic that you have to parent your older sister.
Yep. And the drive to school was always a hassle for Jamie. On their drives, all Cindy did was threaten to quit school, bitch about their parents, and complain about Jamie's driving.
Of course.
Sometimes Cindy would throw her cigarette butts into Jamie's hair while they're driving. She is flicking hot coals at you as you drive.
Man.
Once, Cindy grabbed the steering wheel out of Jamie's hand, almost caused some sort of accident.
Yeah.
Would have been a horrible one, too.
Was she jealous that Jamie was looking at the road and not at her?
Who fucking knows? If you're willing to throw hot coals at the person that's in charge of driving you,
Yeah.
and hence in charge of your safety, you don't care about your own safety.
No, you have no self-worth whatsoever. To act like that, you have no self-worth. So, especially if you're going to be stinky, too.
Oh, she stinks. We'll talk about her bad hygiene.
All right.
Bearing the lead on that. Up until this very moment, Jamie had been reluctant to complain to her parents because she didn't think it would do any good.
It wouldn't?
Probably not.
I mean, they are spineless
when it comes
and helpless.
And when it comes to Cindy.
Yeah.
Cindy's
I don't blame
been
Jamie.
overindulged for her crazy their entire life, and Jamie has no reason to believe that this is different.
Yeah. It would be crazy to think it would change.
But Jamie said, fuck it. She's going to throw caution to the wind. She has to have a talk with her father. If he's disappointed in me about my grades, we got to talk about the cause and effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, she got the whole, there'll be answers, young lady.
Yeah.
She got that whole speech.
He's lucky she didn't spit in his face.
Everybody in this family is profoundly decent, except for Cindy.
Yeah.
Which is why she didn't spit into her father's face and tell him to fuck right the fuck off. Because with the exception of Cindy, these are decent, loving people.
Yes.
So, recently, there had been a shift in the air at the Campbell home, and it looked like Jim and Virginia were finally growing weary of Cindy and her actions.
Yay! At last.
Once, when she was off for coffee, Virginia told Jamie that Cindy was the only person she knew that could walk into a room and make her a nervous wreck.
Mm.
I was just sitting in the kitchen having coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. God, how bad must it be when your own daughter puts your teeth on edge?
I know. To have that in your home. Ugh.
So, Jamie finally went to their dad's home office and told Jim, look, she understands that Cindy needs to get to school, but she is tired of driving Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie told their dad about how Cindy tried to jump out of the car a few times.
Oh, God.
Which
Let
is
her.
I mean, true story. Bye, bitch, bye.
Yeah, I know.
But again, she's a decent person.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with the fucking baggage of your sister being splattered on the road. I don't care how fucked up in the head she is.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that to yourself.
That's true.
That is self-preservation at that
Yeah.
point. You're trying to avoid your own trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that your trauma avoidance benefits Cindy.
Yeah. Deeply unfortunate.
Unhappy coincidence, but that's what that is. Jamie doesn't want to die, so she will save Cindy from jumping out of the car so that she doesn't die. So that Jamie doesn't die or have to deal with the trauma of watching Cindy off herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, she told her dad, look, it's bad. The stress of getting Cindy back and forth to school is too much.
Yeah.
And you want me to study? If you want me to study and get my grades up, I will own that. I will own my bad grades. Mm-hmm. But if you want me to do better, I can't drive Cindy to school anymore.
Yeah.
And shocker of shocker, her dad said, okay.
Yay. Good.
He did the obligatory familial pushback. You know, we got to be there for family, Jamie. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but if there's never, ever, 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 ever going to be reciprocity, stop it.
I think Jim feels obligated to give that speech because he's the dad.
Yeah. Well, and also it would be the normal thing.
Yeah.
But it's like you'll never get loyalty or reciprocity out of Cindy.
No.
Like that deal, the agreement about family does not work on this cow.
No, it doesn't, which is why Papa Jim eventually relents and tells Jamie she no longer has to take Cindy to school.
Oh, good for you, Jamie. Thank God.
So, like I said, he did his thing. He did the dad thing. And Jamie reminded him that Cindy doesn't know how to drive because she refuses to learn.
Yeah.
And in the end, he was like, you know what? You're right. It's fine. So, what the parents did is they went out and they bought Cindy a brand new Buick Regal.
God. Okay.
Had it delivered to the house. Mm-hmm. And then Virginia excitedly told Jamie, oh my God, me and Daddy just bought Cindy this Buick Regal and we are going to pay for the lessons.
Oh my God.
Virginia is very excited.
I know, and in a normal world, this would be
all Cindy
wonderful.
Has to do is take this brand new 1980 Buick Regal.
Yeah.
And learn how to drive.
Yep.
Everybody wins. And, yeah.
How bad was it?
Cindy threw a fit.
Of course.
She screamed and she yelled that there was no way that she was ever going to learn to drive. So you motherfuckers better just take this fucking car back and somebody's going to drive me to fucking school, but I will not learn how to be self-sufficient.
Weird.
She didn't say it that way, but that's essentially what she told them.
Yes.
She is never going to learn to drive.
That's so bizarre.
She's never going to learn how to be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. So they may as well stop trying to fucking pressure her and fuck you. Next day, the Buick was gone. Mm. They returned that bitch right back to the dealership.
I don't blame them. She would have destroyed it, I think.
I mean, probably, but it just goes to show, like, one, how overindulged she is. Mm-hmm. You've almost tried...
How spineless they are.
Yeah. I don't know... They're probably a little spineless for all of their kids. But Cindy is just exceptional in the crazy.
Yeah.
And I only say that because it's like, oh, well, our oldest is already out the house and whatever. Mm-hmm. Our younger middle has to take care of her children, so we'll take the baby and the first middle on a great European vacation. Mm-hmm. That's overindulgent.
Yeah.
Like, I bet all of the kids are a bit spoiled. Mm-hmm. Cindy just happens to be insane.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah, because I could point to a bunch of different little things in the Campbell girls' lives where it's like, okay, you passed your driving test and you got, Cindy got a brand new Buick Regal and she wasn't even going to learn to do nothing.
Yeah.
Imagine what the rest of them got when they learned to drive, right? It's a little overindulgent. I learned to drive. I got my dad's old beater.
Yeah.
After the incident with the Buick, Jamie was back on the hook for taking Cindy to school.
Oh, no. Spineless. Worse than jellyfish.
Yeah, there's nothing she could do to shake her.
Run away from home.
Oh, she will.
Yay!
One day when they were sitting around having lunch in the student union, Jamie saw David West walking towards their table. Mm-hmm. Jamie and David had dated briefly, and I'm using dated in the loosest term possible.
Yeah, like they went on a couple of dates.
Right. It's like when I say I dated that cop, a few dates over 3 months isn't actual dating.
Yeah, it's not a relationship, it's dating. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But their budding relationship had ended badly. And that's because David tended to be possessive with the women that he dated.
Oh, God.
And that is a trait that turned Jamie Campbell right the fuck off. Mm-hmm. Turned switch, sand pussy of the Sahara. She don't want none of it.
Red flag. The pussy is waving the red flag.
And sadly, David is one of these creatures that does not understand no.
Ugh.
No matter how hard or how soft.
Yeah.
And he continued to call Jamie even though she was trying to distance herself from him.
Yeah.
To avoid David, Jamie got the family maid, or housekeeper. Maria's the family housekeeper. I don't know why I don't like the word maid. housekeeper is
old
better.
fashioned.
Yeah.
A maid sounds more like a servant. A housekeeper is an employee.
Yeah. So the family housekeeper, Maria, was enlisted to help Jamie avoid David. She was like, hey, if this guy calls for me, just tell him I'm not home.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. This pissed David off because after it doesn't take a whole lot to figure out Jamie is home. She just doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And she's telling the maid to say that she's, or the housekeeper, to say that she's not home. And in pure douchebag, racist frustration,
Yeah.
David called the house, asked for Jamie. Maria said that she wasn't home. And David called Maria a pinche punta, pinche idiota,
Oh.
and a bunch of other swear words. He called her a fucking word. An
Yeah.
idiot. He basically called her an idiot whore in Spanish.
Yeah.
And when Maria told Jamie and her parents about David's insults, David was just, that's it, fuck it. He's banned from the house. He can't call, he can't come over, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
Maria has been in service of the Campbell family for the better part of 20 years. I don't think any of the Campbell girls, most specifically, know a life without Maria
Yeah.
and their family employ. And they do seem to be very good to her and treat her as an auxiliary member of the family.
Yeah.
So to insult her like that for no good goddamn reason, no.
Yeah.
Up with this bullshit, we will not play.
Yeah. So that it's no matter how they feel about her, that's just trashy behavior.
Oh yeah, it is trashy behavior. I'm just saying that the Campbells aren't just defending Maria because that's trashy behavior.
Yeah.
They value her as an employee, as a human,
Yeah.
as a woman, and they will not
Yeah.
let some kid insult her.
Yeah.
So some time had passed since David had insulted Maria and had gotten himself banned. You know, he still didn't understand why the Campbells were making such a big deal over it.
Oh my god.
Maria's just a servant after all.
Ugh.
Says the man that barely has a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. That's what kills me, and we'll get to him in a minute. But it kills me that somebody who doesn't have the resources to hire household help is offended that somebody would defend the help.
Yeah. He can't afford it, but he feels above her.
Yeah. It's so weird to me. It's like you couldn't even pay a week of that woman's salary.
Yeah.
But yet you're upset that her employers demand that you treat her like a human.
Yeah.
I don't know why it just sits with me weird.
It's such a vulgar, nasty little way to look at the world.
And he's a vulgar, nasty little man.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to. Even though he knew that Jamie would not be excited to speak to him, you know, they've broken up. He doesn't quite understand it, but
Yeah.
now
She keeps avoiding him.
Yeah. David went over to the table where Jamie introduced him to her sister Cindy. It was an awkward meeting. Jamie didn't want to talk to David. David knows that he is intruding.
Yeah.
Jamie doesn't want to talk to him. And Cindy is sitting at this table like a scared slug with somebody standing over him with a container of salt.
Yeah.
She's just like sitting there like, just being like sluggish and chubby and greasy and weird.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to introduce himself. I mean, David ain't shit. But
Yeah.
in this moment, he's trying to do the, hi, I'm David. And she's just,
Yeah.
like she doesn't know how to talk. And he's, you know, trying to be like, hey, Earth the Cindy. And she's still just like,
Just plain dumb.
yeah. Jamie had told David some of the stories about her crazy sister. And he's like, oh, this is the crazy one. Okay. In one conversation, Jamie said that Cindy had driven a few therapists mad. See,
I believe it.
The Campbells tried.
Yeah.
They did all the right shit. Everything we told them to do.
Yep, they tried.
But from where David sat, all he could see was a fat, nasty blob of a woman that didn't know how to take care of herself. Like, he's not seeing the unholy terror.
Yeah. He's seeing a sad sack.
Exactly. When David said hello, Cindy seemed so meek that she reminded David of a delayed 5-year-old.
Oh my God.
A few days after that awkward meeting, David ran into Cindy at the student union again. This time, she was alone. David walked over, said hello to Cindy, and Cindy said hello so softly. But she was more chatty than she had been the first time that they met. But it was like,
Weird.
but as they get to chatting, she opens up a little bit, but she's always still very delayed 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
She's always in that mode.
Yeah.
But she does open up a bit. And the more they talk, the more David realized that Cindy is smart. True.
Mm-hmm.
She has a wicked sense of humor. Hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Depending.
Depending on who's the target.
Depending on who's the target, the situation, she is much better when she's giving something of a performance.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks of herself as an actress.
Oh, Lord.
We'll get there. But yet he was disgusted by how fat she was, which is hilarious.
How fat was she?
So to paint a picture, Cindy Campbell is probably about 5'5", 5'6".
Mm-hmm.
She maybe weighs about 200-ish pounds.
Okay.
So is she overweight? Yes.
Yeah.
But she's
not a planet.
She's not going to be on 600-pound life anytime soon.
No.
She has long brown hair that sometimes gets the blonde highlight treatments because this is the early 80s.
True.
But it's greasy because she doesn't bathe and she doesn't wash it. She doesn't brush it. Mm-hmm. So it's a tangled, nasty, matty, greasy mess.
Yeah.
She has 2-inch eyelashes that everybody thinks are fake.
Oh.
Until you get up on her and you realize that they're real.
Huh.
She's one of those freaks that she was blessed with super long eyelashes. Good God, if we was all able.
I know.
I mean, it's not the gift that I've been blessed with.
I know.
But on the flip side, I've been blessed with the gift of sanity.
Yeah, true.
I can buy eyelashes. I can get lashes. I'm not pressed.
I can read a room and fit into it.
I understand self-awareness. I'm not crazy. Mm-hmm. So when we look at the varying gifts that any of us could have been handled.
True.
I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. But he was starting to think that she might be a good candidate for David's B.F. Skinner-inspired self-improvement program.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Now that's a name I haven't heard since college. B.F. Skinner.
Oh
man,
we're just enough to be dangerous in this bitch.
I know. I'm guessing he's like Psych 101, 102.
Yes.
And already he's a self-help guru.
Yes.
Let me fix you.
So while they were talking, David lifted Cindy's greasy hair off of her face and tried to encourage her. Mm-hmm. B.F. Skinner style.
Yes.
You know, sit up straight. Look me in the eye when you talk to me. You know, things like that. David told Cindy that you could be a beautiful girl if you just lost weight and washed your ass. The next time David saw Cindy, he commented that Cindy and Jamie didn't look like sisters at all. Mm. Because Jamie cleans.
Yes.
And washes and bathes.
Yes.
And she's thinner. There is a passing family resemblance between Jamie and Cindy, but David's working on his B.F. Skinner, so he's trying to load Cindy up with unconditional positive regard. Mm-hmm. And he thinks that saying that she doesn't look like her sister implying that she's pretty in her own right
Yeah.
is a step in that direction. And Cindy was like, well, of course we don't look alike. I'm illegitimate. Yes.
Oh, God.
See, according to Cindy, Jim had sired Cindy in Italy in World War II, and the family had been sworn to secrecy.
Dang. That is Looney Tunes.
David was taken aback by this info because if she was born in World War II, she should have been closer to 40, but
Yeah.
Cindy's barely 25, which he knows because Jamie, who he had tried to date, is barely 21 or 22.
Yeah.
And there's only like a 4-year age gap between them.
Yeah.
So he knows that this is a lie.
I know. It's such a weird lie.
It's an impossible lie.
Exactly. It's like, Cindy, do you know when World War II happened?
He just blew it off like she must be. Clearly, she's joking. This is not something to be taken
Korea,
seriously.
maybe.
He just blows it off like some sort of weird joke. Like,
Yeah.
he's heard about her craziness, and he's looking at it like, well, maybe this is just her sense of humor. Being weird.
Yeah.
So he lets it drop. Later that night, David was at his bartending job when he got a phone call. David answered the phone, and he heard Cindy putting on her, actually very convincing, sexy, sultry voice. And she asked him out.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird because like, every time he's talked to her, let's say they've had a dozen or so conversations at this point, and it's always this little girl, I don't know, like very meek,
Yeah.
timid. But when she asked him on that date, it was like, hi, David. It's Cindy.
Do you want to touch it?
I think you're really cute. Would you like to go on a date with me? Very sultry, but convincing. And he was like, oh, okay, not sure where this sexy confidence came for,
Yeah.
but, you know, he kind of digs it. Even though she's still too fat for him to date for real.
But she's into him.
And a lot of people are not into David West. Like, at all.
That makes sense. I mean, the fact that he will not give up on this chick that went out on a couple dates with him. I'm thinking he has no other prospects right now.
And she's not the only one. I skipped a bunch of it because how many times could I talk about how this guy is rejected? But
there's a pattern.
But there are women that are like straight out like, fuck you, get away, I'm not interested. And he still calls them. And they're in their interviews, they're like, why does he keep trying to come around? I am viscerally rude.
Yeah.
I am mean. I am cruel.
Yeah.
But he still keeps calling to check in. So, after she gets her date with David, Cindy told Jamie, David West is ugly. He's ugly. He's nasty. He's gross. He looks like a pig.
Okay.
And he ate like a dog. And Jamie was like, well, all of those things are true, and notwithstanding, why did you ask him out if he's the same nasty, greasy motherfucker that I didn't want to go out with?
Yeah, because he keeps complimenting her.
No.
No?
David would be good for beating people up.
Of course it's even more psycho than that.
And that's when Jamie is like, and I'm out. And goes to her room.
Yeah.
So now that we've spent some time with crazy Cindy,
Let's spend less time with her.
It's time to spend some time with David West.
Oh my god.
Nice guy, TM.
Right? Actually, no. Well, can we go back to Cindy?
But David West is the reason that things like Nice Guy TM
Yeah.
exist. So even though he didn't like the idea of going out with a fat whale like Cindy,
Yes.
David said yes to the date when she called because let's be real. Ain't nobody lining up to talk to David West.
Right? This is probably the first time in his life he's been asked out.
It is. So to paint a picture, David West is anywhere from 5'10" to maybe about 6'2".
Okay.
Like I've seen
Average to
pictures.
tallish.
Yeah. He's on the tall side of average,
Yes.
if anything.
That makes sense.
Spindly.
Okay.
Thin. Mm-hmm. Rail thin. Reed thin. Weak chin.
Nice guy TM indeed.
And he's got wonky eyes.
Oh yeah?
His eyes are two different colors.
Oh, okay. So you're not cross-eyed or...
No, just different colors.
Okay. What is that, tetrachroma?
That is exactly what that's called. Because unlike David Bowie, he didn't get the good sense to get punched out by his lifetime creative collaborator.
David Bowie's so fucking cool.
But I digress. We're skipping ahead. Their first date was awkward, but not unpleasant. Mm-hmm. And David and Cindy kept on seeing each other. Mm-hmm. Over time, David found out that Cindy had a self-deprecating sense of humor, and he was starting to wonder if self-loathing was something that he and Cindy had in common.
Yes.
One day, David admitted to Cindy that he felt like he had a pig's face. I could see it. Now, I wouldn't go as far as, like I said, he doesn't look like a pig.
Yeah.
But he does have that kind of weak chin and long, lanky body that keeps many an incel up at night cursing the universe for not blessing them with a lantern jaw.
Right.
He is definitely
before
that.
mewing.
He is definitely that. Mm-hmm. Like, I would say 95% of the incels that freak out about their weak chin and this, that, and the other are just experiencing some sort of dysmorphia.
Yes.
And they're not as bad off as they think they are.
Yeah.
I mean, their personalities may be garbage notwithstanding,
Exactly.
but, like, their physical is not nearly as bad as they may think it is.
Yeah.
David West's physical is right exactly where he thinks it is.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
He's homely.
Yeah. Bullseye, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly there. The only thing interesting about David West in the looks department, like I said, are his eyes.
Yeah.
He was born with that condition that I can't...
Tetrachroma.
But
Tetrachromia.
But, you know, it has an H in it, but it might be pronounced with a T. Long word. Yeah. Can't say it. It means his eyes are two different colors. So he has one brown eye, one blue eye.
Cool.
And
that is cool.
Unlike David Bowie, he didn't get
he didn't get it the cool way.
By his lifelong creative companion.
Getting one people blown out forever.
Mm-hmm. But the same effect, only without having to get punched in the face by your lifelong creative collaborator. And
during a Coke binge.
No, it was in high school.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was in high school. Some of the rumors say that he was punched out by one of the members of The Who, but it wasn't.
That's hilarious.
It was his long-term songwriting partner that he'd been with since the Ziggy Stardust days.
Yeah.
And he punched him in the face in high school.
Bowie has a mouth on him and is a fighty bitch. And Iman tamed him. Exactly.
And it's what caused him to have one. So David Bowie's brown eye is not actually brown. No. The pupil is just
wide open.
And
so you have one dark eye and one like green eye.
Yeah, and so David West has that without the good sense of being punched out by talented musicians. When David said he thought he was uglier, shorter, and weaker than he was, Cindy said, "I don't know, David. I think you're pretty good looking for a male chauvinist." That made you laugh.
Yeah.
That's the shit that he's getting turned on by.
Okay.
This is why he's seeing, he's like, oh, she's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
She can be biting. She should be cutting. See? She
Good
even made you laugh.
chauvinist.
You're good looking for a chauvinist. I mean, I'm going to give it to her. That's a good line.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to give it to her because I know too much.
True. But it's kind of like a stop clock thing.
Yeah, but also this is the first and only time I'm going to say run, incel, run. Nothing good can come of going on with this incel. Look, I know dating is hard, but get on the OkCupid, get on the phone lines, do whatever the fuck they had in the 80s.
It was a
just don't do this.
That or just going to the bar.
Yeah, I'm just saying, whatever we had.
Go to the bar.
Whatever you had during the 80s, go do that. Nothing good
Yeah.
can come from sticking with this. But nobody's going to listen to me. So here we are.
Texas, go to the rodeo.
Right? But this will be the first and only time. No, I'll just say it the first. We might come across another case that'll make me say it again.
Yes.
But this is going to be one of the only times where I say run, incel, run.
Yes. You deserve better.
Somehow find better. Anyway, on one date, Cindy drew David a portrait, and he was shocked by how talented she was. It's like a museum level portrait.
Oh, wow.
And she spat it out in 8 minutes.
Wow, that is impressive.
David has a bit of artistic talent, but he is nowhere near Cindy's level. Mm-hmm. And when she saw the portrait she had drawn, he accepted the picture gracefully.
Yeah.
With the portrait of him. But deep down, he was so jealous that he thought that he should just throw away all his art supplies because he will never, ever be this talented.
That is a humbling experience. When you see someone doing something you like to do so exquisitely well, it's like, what the fuck am I? Nah. Burn it all.
I don't find that humbling. I find it inspiring.
I guess it depends on what you think of your talent.
It's like, no, you're the thing I aspire to be, and how did you do it?
Yeah.
I would, if possible, I will join myself to you at the hip in the most non-annoying way I can think of, so that I can learn how to do what you do.
Yeah.
Pick up some tips. There's got to be something I can glean from a person with that type of natural talent. But no, because he is a sad sack. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I should just throw away all my pens because I'll never be this good. Fat ugly woman is better than me.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Then one day over lunch, David was shocked to hear that Cindy was going to drop out of school. When David asked why Cindy was dropping out, also, David is not enrolled in St. Thomas University right now. He just likes to hang out on campus.
All right.
But he's also in the same age group as Cindy and Jamie.
Yeah.
So it's not...
Not yet.
He's got a couple of years before this gets weird.
Yeah. But it's on track.
Yeah, he had been enrolled in St. Thomas, dropped out, and now he just hangs out there. Because where else is he going to find people
and
his
right
own
now
age?
it's age appropriate, but I don't know, a job?
I mean, you give it some time, and it'll be not right. But for right now, is it weird that you're hanging out at a school when you're not enrolled? A little bit.
Yeah.
But I bet you if we went to USC or UCLA, we would find some teenagers and 20-somethings just milling around for the socialness.
Yeah, especially here. I mean, it's different if you're on a campus in a rural setting. This is downtown.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you live in a college town, you'll probably...
Yeah, there's
the campus area...
Yeah.
And the campus life...
I'll go to the Rose Garden at USC.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily, walk where the dorms are.
Well, I'm thinking it's this is a mid to smallish college town. Mm-hmm. So I'm figuring where else are all of the age-appropriate people for him to hang out going to be?
I don't know. Why doesn't he have friends? Doesn't he know people?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get to why he doesn't have friends.
Okay, it's like, but if you're at this age still trying to make friends, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So when David asked Cindy why she was dropping out, she told David that it was because her grades were better than Jamie's. And because of that, Jamie couldn't drive Cindy to school anymore because she had to focus on her grades. Lies, lies, lies from the pits of hell.
Yes.
Lies.
Leave Jamie out of this.
Now, in the few weeks that David had been hanging out with Cindy, he had never seen her carry any books or go to class, so he wasn't sure how Jamie's grades were better than hers.
Yeah.
Because he had been in class with Jamie before.
Yeah.
Like, before he had dropped out. And he knew her to be a nose to the grindstone type of chick. So it was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Jamie definitely has better grades than you.
Yeah.
But whatever. He's not going to push back. Fuck it. From where David sat, that was women's talk.
Yes.
Especially, it's women's talk amongst sisters.
Yeah.
So it's double, triple none of his business.
Yeah.
Whether Cindy is lying or not.
Yeah. This is woman talk squared.
Yes, woman talk is already none of his business.
Yeah.
But woman talk between sisters?
Even less.
So he's just, you know what? I'm just going to leave that there. David did ask what the elder Campbells thought about Cindy dropping out. And she told David that her parents didn't care what she did.
I mean, she's not wrong, kind of.
Because no matter what she did, her parents and her sisters were always going to mess with her head and make people think that Cindy is a bad person. They don't. Ugh.
I know, right?
Ugh.
Ooh.
So Cindy continued telling David that her entire family hates her. I submit this is true, but not for the reasons that she's about to lay out.
Right.
As she spoke, Cindy switched from the timid little girl voice that David was getting to know into a full-on whine.
Oh, God.
About how her parents had bought a car for Jamie, but they wouldn't even buy her an old junker. Now,
they wouldn't. They would never buy her an old junker.
No, they bought her a brand new Buick
Exactly.
Regal, fresh off the lot that they had to return.
Exactly.
But David doesn't know that.
Of course not.
He doesn't know that they literally put down 10 grand on a brand new Buick Regal, only to turn around and say she's not going to drive it and took back their 10 grand. He doesn't know that. So you have to keep in mind that David doesn't know the intricacies of what's going on in the Campbell house.
Yeah, of course not.
But because he has been banned from the Campbell house, from the way he talked to Maria, the housekeeper, he is inclined to think the worst of the other Campbells because he got banned from the house.
Yeah.
So, of course, he would not know about Cindy rejecting a brand new Buick because she refuses to take driving lessons. But he is in a position to think the worst of her family because he got banned. But whatever. David listened to Cindy's stories and felt bad for her. No one should live in a family that hates them, which is true. I submit that Cindy gives them good reason to hate them.
Hell yeah. She does, and yet they don't.
No.
She gives every fucking reason to hate her, but they clearly don't.
Especially not their parents. And I would submit not even the sisters.
Yeah. I think on some level they realize how very broken and just unfixable she is, and that can't be a great life.
I think that's definitely true for her parents, and probably her sisters want to love on her so hard.
Yeah.
But she is so difficult that the sisters have learned to love her from afar.
Yeah.
the parents are still trying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they've got the biological imperative. Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, she's their dropling.
Yeah. And it sounds like every now and then she can be, like, fun.
Mm-hmm.
When she's not determined to be a cow.
Oh, we'll talk about it more in episodes 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. But Cindy's a psycho, but she is a good time.
Don't you hate it?
She can be so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the crazy will come eventually.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
As sure as the sun rising.
It will get crazy. It will get weird. But as a general rule, Cindy's actually a really good time.
That scans.
When she's not a nutbag. But David also thought that it was par for the course. After all, anybody that would ban him from their home for something as minor as insulting the help is likely the kind of person that would mistreat their child. Like I said, David ain't got the resources to hire no one.
Yeah.
But he really got, okay. He's like the living embodiment of like a certain type of conservative person will always defend the billionaire class to their detriment because they think they'll be that.
Yeah.
Like if he had the help, he wouldn't give a shit if people abused.
Exactly.
So why would anybody else? Because if he were of the manor born.
True. This is how I expect to be treated.
David asked Cindy if she would start taking the bus to school. But Cindy says she couldn't take the bus because she ain't had no money. No, she's telling David that her parents will not give her bus fare.
God. Oh my God. People who ride the bus don't deserve her.
Now, David, of course, is taken aback. Mm-hmm. I mean, he knows for a fact that the Campbells are millionaires several times over. Mm-hmm. And it is sick and twisted to mistreat a person as fragile as Cindy and not even give her bus fare.
Right. Look at this.
Sick.
Look at this.
Twisted. Twisted.
She lives under the stairs. They stuffed her in an attic. She is so neglected and beaten and unloved.
Got to be twisted.
Yeah.
Twisted. And they defended the help. They demanded that a stranger in their home treat their housekeeper like a human being and not call her an idiot whore.
Exactly. Don't they understand the hierarchy and where I stand in it?
No. Nor do they care of what you think. As Cindy spoke, David could feel the rage creeping into his body. Mm-hmm. You see, David had been raised to be a gentleman.
Oh, God.
And as a gentleman, he was always supposed to protect women and put them on a pedestal. I told you we were entering nice guy TM territory. Did I not warn you? This is nice guy TM.
And it's always like the guys who want to protect women are like a menace.
But is there any more of a nice guy TM sentence than he was raised to be a gentleman and always to protect women and put them on a pedestal? God, that is the most nice guy TM sentence I have ever written in my entire life. Right?
God bless the people who actually are gentlemen.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, we get to hate David. Trust and believe. I'm going to give you plenty of reasons to hate him just like you hate Cindy.
Yeah.
But this is, again, we're at the part where I'm like, run, incel.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
Not all pussy is good pussy. They say not all skin folk is kinfolk. Exactly. And not all good pussy is good pussy. Just because she's willing to sit it on your forehead doesn't mean you should take it.
Yeah. There's another 6 out there for you. Find her.
Maybe 4. David West.
True. I'm being generous. Women are far more forgiving, though.
True, but the most interesting thing about him is the eye thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And women aren't that shallow.
And, like, how dangerous and deadly the world could be for women. Like, he thought about that a lot. In his pedestalization of women. he always thought about, this is a dangerous world for a woman.
It's a man's world.
But it'd be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Right.
I think people misunderstand that song.
Mm.
Because he's like, yeah, it is a man's world.
Yeah.
But it would be nothing without women and girls.
So true.
So I think people take the wrong meaning of that song.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about the context it's usually rolled out in.
Right. That's what, like, no, he's really actually uplifting
Yeah.
the role of women and girls.
Yes.
In his life. And he's saying, you give men all of these praise and accolades over here because he invented this and this and that. But where would he be without the women in his life?
He does embody the song in this case, his attitude. Like, it is harmful to pedestalize, but that song kind of pedestalizes women, so.
It does. I mean, James Brown is problematic as fuck, as we know.
And hilarious.
But I love him.
Same. Kind of like with Richard Pryor. It's just like, you are a product of your time and fucked upness. And you are a genius.
And honestly, and that is what makes their worst moments more tolerable.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if they had been treated better, like, they had a chance.
Yeah.
If they'd had a better beginning, they would have had a better middle and end.
And at least in the case of Richard Pryor, he does get better.
Yes.
He does do better.
Yeah.
James Brown can be a little more hit or miss. But
I blame the coke.
Man.
And he stuck to that to the bitter end.
I still feel bad about killing him, though.
Mm.
James Brown was in that pantheon of people when I was like,
that's right.
When I was like trying to buy concert tickets for legacy acts.
Yeah.
And every time I bought a ticket, I would find out that person had died within 72 hours. James Brown is in that group.
That's right. Who else is in that group?
Ike Turner.
That was a righteous killing.
And you know, Ike Turner, I only bought tickets to see Ike Turner's and the Kings of Rhythm because I was going to heckle him. $5 fine. I was so looking forward to heckling that man. I was going to heckle him through the whole show.
And he died rather than to go through that.
I was prepared to get girl, I was so serious about my heckling. I'm like, I'm going to get banned from the House of Blues for this. But if I'm going to get banned, this is a reason to be banned.
God intervened.
And he died.
That would be a righteous and awesome story about getting banned.
Yeah. But yeah, that was when I
heckled the shit out of Ike Turner.
And then he died. But like if I'm going to get banned from a bar, I wanted to be that level of shit.
Yeah.
But Ike Turner died before that show. And then like when I went to go see Grace Jones the first time, I had accidentally killed so many people by buying tickets. Ray Charles was another one, killed him too.
Yeah.
I bought tickets to go see him at the Bowl. Within 72 hours, he was dead.
Wow. But Grace Jones, it's just men.
No,
Grace Jones lived. Diana Ross lived through.
But here's the thing.
Yes.
I've seen Grace Jones 3 times.
Yes.
And none of those times did I buy the tickets.
Ah, but you bought the Diana Ross tickets.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I got somebody else to do it for me. I got my boss to buy the tickets.
Okay.
And it was weird to have to explain. I had to explain it. I was like, okay, here's the thing. I need you to buy tickets for me. Mm-hmm. He's like, why can't you buy them yourself? I'm like, because when I buy tickets for old people, they die. And I don't want to kill Diana Ross. Don't question me. Don't talk to me.
Go
just
limp.
Accept it.
Yeah.
Just know that I have an ATM card and I will get you cold, hard cash.
Yes.
If you buy these tickets
do this for me. Do it for her.
And he said, okay. He was, you know what? It's funny is my old boss was just superstitious and believed in my weird enough that he was just like, yeah. That like once I explained it, he was like, no, this tracks. I don't want you to kill her either.
Right?
So yeah, Diana Ross, Rod Stewart, Cyndi Lauper, The extra 2 times I saw Grace Jones, I did not buy any of those tickets myself.
Speaking of which, Diana Ross is back at the bowl this summer.
I got the cash if you're willing to go buy the ticket.
I am.
Maybe I won't be terrified by people and squirt. Anyway. So not only was David raised to believe that this could be a deadly, dangerous world for a woman, which can be true, but not in the reason that he thinks.
Yeah. Especially
A delicate, immature, fat woman like Cindy.
2 of those descriptions are correct. Immature, fat woman. Delicate.
Yeah.
In his dreams. I need you to be in distress and to be a damsel.
Oh, no, you see, David's mom, Cecilia, she told him all about it.
Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm. When David was young, his mama told him about the sexual abuse that she had experienced as a child.
Oh, no. Oh, David, I'm sorry.
And Cecilia wanted her boy to grow up knowing how to treat a woman. I submit you could teach him how to do that without inviting him into your trauma.
What? Your sexual trauma. Ugh.
Oh.
That is...
I'm not saying a young man should never know that about his mother, but there was a way to... I just don't think she did it right.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of the gender of a child...
Yeah.
There is something about knowing your parents' life story, for
Yeah.
better or for ill. I know a lot of my parents' worst stories of them growing up and some of the traumas that they experienced. But, like, I don't know. Cecilia did it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know what she did, but it was wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't right.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Tim.
And so it was with those instructions that David held close.
Yeah.
Cecilia's instructions on how to treat a woman.
Oh my God.
How to protect a woman. How to pedestal a woman.
Yeah.
All of which is based on her very sad childhood traumas. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of time to go into it because this is the Cindy and David story and not the Cecilia story.
Yeah.
This book was 127 chapters, and trust and believe they were trying to make it the Cecilia story from here and there, but it's not. So I will say that Cecilia was not treated well by her family of origin. I think her parents had 2 children before her, and she was definitely the booger of that family.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate, and it is very sad, but you don't get to abuse your son by telling him about your abuse.
I know.
That's why I say there's a way to tell your kids
but that
about
was
that.
but that was pre-enlightenment. Come on.
Was it?
Listen, like, I think there were people who would not want to, like, let their children know their business.
Yeah.
But I don't know if people at that time would necessarily know how fucked up that is.
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Because, like I hadn't heard the sentiment that, like, you should never let kids hear about adult business until, like, I was in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Because my grandmother, on my dad's side, was very much a kids don't come near grown folks' business. Mm-hmm. Kids are seen and not heard. Mm-hmm. And you stay out of grown folks' business.
Yeah.
So I think it might depend on your background and your own instincts.
Yeah.
I think there might be some people that, in spite of their background and how they were raised, may instinctually know that my kid doesn't need to know this about me right now. And there may be a point where I have to tell my kid about my abuse growing up, but today's not the day.
Yeah.
And you kind of trot it out slowly and maybe a bit more age appropriately.
Yeah.
It seems to be like Cecilia trauma dumped on this kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I think both things are a little bit true.
Yeah. Like, they didn't think about how that would affect a kid.
No, but like I said, there is something to be said that some people, I think, may just have the instinct as this is too much for a kid right now.
Yeah.
There may be an instinct for that with some people.
Who knows?
But Cecilia's definitely a trauma dumper.
Yes.
I should say, if
Oversharer.
If my lived experience is anything to go by, there is something to be said for parents that are like, she don't need to know this right now.
Exactly.
We can tell her this part of our fucked up childhood. Mm-hmm. I think we've talked about it before that my dad had a very challenging childhood. I didn't find out how challenging until I was in my middle 20s.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said for knowing what is too much.
Yeah.
Cecilia's not that person.
No.
And I feel like that's regardless of what space you grow up in.
She's going to raise this young man to save her. To save young ladies like her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So feeling sorry for Cindy, David invited her to live in his duplex.
Oh, wow. Well, he thinks he's saving her from a horrible household.
Yes. I mean, his place isn't much, but David would let her have a room, and she would be close enough to walk to school. Mm-hmm. At first, Cindy was horrified by the thought of living with a man. What kind of come on is this?
You have 2
living
kids.
With a man.
Shut the fuck up. You have 2 kids.
It's a come on.
Or is this the act for him?
It is.
Yeah.
But David convinced Cindy he just wanted to help her out.
Mm-hmm.
He would never come on to her. He would never be untoward.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you're too fat to fuck. So you really...
I want to save you, but I don't want to touch you.
No, really, your fat greasy ass has nothing to fear from me and my Lily.
Oh my God, is Lily? Yes.
Me and the Lily want nothing to do with you in your current state, madam. Literally, I'm just trying to be a gentleman and help you get to school.
I know. You may consider the lilies, but the lily won't consider you.
Yeah, no. Mm. You're too much of a fat fuck. Right?
Yeah.
But thanks for playing.
Yeah.
Sadly, Cindy's move-in with David didn't bring much peace to the Campbell home.
Really?
It should have.
I know, right?
But it didn't. Because Jamie still had to see Cindy on campus. Mm. She still has to deal with her.
Yeah.
Before enrolling in St. Thomas with Jamie, Cindy had actually had a gig as a store artist for a local department store.
Oh, cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, so the store artist back then, because this is the early 80s, I don't know if big department stores still have artists.
No, that's probably like centralized now.
Yeah, I feel like up until maybe the late 80s, early 90s, they did. But back then, the purpose of a store artist was to do the visual mock-up of what would be your display window. Mm-hmm. You tell the artist, I want this thing, this thing, this thing, and they draw up something very pretty for the merchandisers to build. Yeah. Essentially. And the fact that she got that kind of job with almost no formal education, just a little bit of her parents' connections, and her own raw talent, is saying something for how actually talented she is as an artist.
Yeah, it's hard to make a living as an artist.
Yes. Cindy quit her job on the second day.
Really? Why?
She wants to be an actress.
Oh, God.
So she was going to enroll in St. Thomas and enroll in drama classes.
Oh, dear.
And since Cindy didn't drive, and David is still banned from the Campbell home, it was just better for her to move in with David. Mm. Right? Nobody's there to drive her anymore.
True.
And when Cindy came home to visit, oh boy, dealing with Cindy is tough. Since Cindy didn't drive, David was always at the Campbell home, sitting in the driveway.
Ugh.
Oh, he's banned, remember?
Yeah, from the house,
Which means
but not the driveway.
Like, I guess sitting in the driveway is not intruding on their space. And dealing with Cindy was bad enough, but having David crawl through the edges of her social life was way too much for Jamie.
Yeah, poor Jamie.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Like, she barely was able to get rid of David on her own. Now he's creeping on her sister.
Yeah.
And now they're both sleazing around the family home.
I know, right? Ugh.
So I'm going to take you back in time a little bit because I felt like burying leads on this show, on this episode. Talk about a little bit about how Jamie and David met.
All right. Okay.
Now, Jamie had met David 2 years before in 1978 when they had a political science class together. Again, that's how David knows that Jamie's a nose to the grindstone kind of girl, so it seems impossible for her grades to be shit in compared to Cindy, who never goes to class. But here we are. Jamie was shocked to discover that David had been a Marine because he looked like a fucking wimp.
Yeah.
That Christmas, so it's Christmas 78, David called Jamie up because everybody knew each other's phone number back then, which is very weird.
Yeah.
Or I should say everybody's phone number was easier to find back then.
Yeah. Either you had the yellow pages,
or you knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that had your number.
Or you had it written down in an address book. Or a Rolodex.
This Jamie and David thing sounds like they knew somebody that knew somebody and they had a couple of classes together. So maybe they worked on a project. That's how they had each other's information. It doesn't seem like Jamie would have given up her number to him if they didn't have business together in some form. Even though she doesn't directly say that.
Yeah.
She's so not into him.
Yeah.
That it's the only thing that makes sense. So David called Jamie one night, close to Christmas of 78, and told Jamie that he was lonely.
Okay.
Jamie knew that David doesn't have a lot of friends, and she felt bad for him. So when he asked her to go to a movie, she said yes.
Bless her heart.
Now, the entire time that Jamie and David were out on their date, their handful of dates, I think they went out like 4 times maybe, before she was like, fuck this guy. The entire time, David bitched about his parents, which are just sad sack intellectuals disappointed in their lives. His mother came from money. Cecilia comes from a couple of dollars. She was the Cinderella of her family, but she aspired to be like an actress.
Okay.
And David is her second child from her second marriage. His father is a disaffected intellectual who cares more about books and old jazz albums than he does his kid. David is also his second child in his second marriage, and his older daughter don't want shit to do with him. So I just feel their disaffection.
Oh my God, he's a double second child of double second marriages.
Yes. And I feel that these are disaffected intellectuals that don't really seem to see any of his specific needs.
Yeah.
And he's a springboard for what they want. So when he's not bitching about that, He bragged about how he had inherited over $100,000 from an oil-rich aunt. Then he would go back to bitching that his mother had invested most of his money in the old duplex that he was living in, and how the rotten old building was becoming a money pit, sucking him dry. And there is truth to that.
Yeah.
He inherited his money. Remember, he's about the same age-ish as Cindy.
Yeah.
About 24, 25.
Yeah.
And so he inherited this money when he's like 16, 17, right? After he graduates high school, he goes to the military, which means he's not taking that money with him.
Yeah.
And since she is still the steward of his money while he's in the military, Cecilia decides to buy him this old duplex in a neighborhood that is walking, bike riding distance from his parents' house in the neighborhood that he grew up in. And I think this is her way of making sure he doesn't leave her again after he's done with the military.
Yeah.
Because she sees it, like she's got her vision in her head. She's going to buy this duplex, David's going to fix it up, and it's going to be an investment property.
Yeah.
He lives in one side, he rents out the other.
Yeah. It's not a bad investment.
It's not, but I think when you invest in something like that, in the hopes that it's the thing that makes your kids stick around town, it's kind of fucked up.
I mean, it's manipulative.
To say the least.
But in the pantheon of, like, this is before there were laws to, like save a minor's money from parents.
I think both things are true. This is manipulative, and this is shitty, and she shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But spending half your date bitching about how your mom forced you to buy a dilapidated old house is not the best way to impress a date.
True.
David also told Jamie that his father was an emotionally constipated intellectual who cared more about his dogs, old books, and jazz albums than his only begotten son.
Oh, yeah. That's a man of a certain generation.
Again.
It's like, you're here to serve him. He's not here for you.
And honestly, he doesn't give a shit what David does. He would just, he'll just go into his room with his records and his books and keep it pushing. As David droned on about how shitty his life was, Jamie felt that she was in the thick of the same kind of crazy as her sister Cindy. If nothing else, Jamie Campbell has a finely tuned crazy sensor.
Yes.
Jamie Campbell is like a spider. She's sitting in her web, and she can feel the tremble of a fly.
Yeah.
Without much effort. Only instead of a spider looking for food and a fly trapped in its web, her spidey sense is crazy.
Yeah. So she's more of a Spider-Man.
Yeah. She's like, oh, this is crazy. Oh, this crazy has hit my web. Oh, fuck this.
Let me web away from here. To the rooftop.
You guys can't see me doing a Spider-Man swap.
Flip, flap. Flip, flap, flap.
Which is what she should do. Flip, flap.
And she
get out of here.
And she did.
Thankfully, David West is impervious to social cues, so he probably didn't notice Jamie's panic yet glazed expression when she realized what sort of insanity she was dealing with. Just imagine she's like she sat there like the kid from The Shining, just like wide-eyed and shaking. Everything but
the
froth.
blood comes rolling down the hallway.
Like everything but frothing at the mouth is like, because she knows exactly what this is.
Yeah.
In later interviews, Jamie said that David was the kind of guy that other guys used to send beer.
Yes.
He wasn't significant enough to be liked or disliked, but he's handy.
Yeah.
You can go get your stuff. David could never tell when a woman was saying no.
Could he not tell, or he would not let himself
I guess
hear or see no.
I all of it could be true. Because it's not in a rapey way. He's not like, no, you're going to give me that puss. It's not that.
No.
But it's like pestering. Why are you sticking around? I've told you to fuck off.
Yeah.
I've been mean. I have done everything but lay hands on you.
Yeah. Like, he thinks he can overcome the objection.
Yeah. And you're still coming around. I've done everything but, like, sick my dad, my brother, or my dog on you.
Right.
I've done everything but hit you with a baseball bat. And yet...
But if that's what it takes...
I mean, none of them are above it.
Yeah.
But they're all like, but why is he still coming around?
Yeah.
Jamie would also say that David didn't seem to have much by the way of self-awareness. And he didn't know how to read a room.
Yeah. Also, it's just dumb, like, why would you, when you're trying to make a first impression, if you're, like, trying to impress someone, why would you just complain?
Because he doesn't know how to read a room or social cues in any way, shape, or form.
Weird.
David's the kind of dude that'd be sitting in a group of people and out of nowhere say some bullshit like, I admire the Romans for perpetuating the health of their race.
Oh, God.
When the deformed baby came out, they just put it on a hillside and let it happen.
I mean, this is the point where you just start throwing shit at him.
David also told people in casual conversation that he felt like the retarded should be sterilized.
Oh, God.
All before telling someone at the college bars that he's hanging out at that he abhorred the Nazis but agreed with the notion of breeding for a master race.
Jesus fuck.
But then he would try to double back and be like, why shouldn't I be allowed to have a designer baby? If you could if you can use the science and dial up the exact child I want with the exact features that I want and personality, intelligence, whatever, why would I not do that? You can officially stop feeling sorry for David West.
Yeah, because that's vile. It's like, you're a Nazi.
Like, right, I told you that there was going to point where you were going to be like, oh, run, incel, run, but then fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. We've officially hit the fuck him stage.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, this is why he can't read a room. He just says this shit apropos of nothing.
Yeah.
He just busts out this type of shit.
Yeah, that's...
And that's why he doesn't have any real friends, and they only use him to get beer.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Somebody needs to get beer, and I don't care if this racist fuck shit risks the DUI to get it.
Yeah. I wouldn't even let him do that.
You know what, though? I don't blame them.
For using him and treating him like shit? Yeah.
I don't blame them. Like, they're all drinking, partying, having a good time. They need more booze. They need more beer. They are smart enough to know that they should not risk the DUI to get it.
Yeah.
But nobody gives a shit about David West, so let him risk the DUI to get us beer.
Yeah. That's... Yeah.
I understand this.
And if he's like a little pest that keeps coming around, use him.
Yeah. So I'm not even faulting his friend group, air quotes.
Yeah.
For
the people he bothers. They're not friends. These are the people that he bothers on a regular basis.
Yeah, and if all they do is use him to get fucking beer and weed, fuck him.
Yeah.
He's old weak chin Nazi shit. If I can't get him to go away, at least he could be useful by bringing me more alcohol and weed.
Yeah.
And Jamie had been close enough to David to know that David had a mean streak, despite looking like a wimp. Once, David bumped a gas station attendant and fought the guy.
Oh my God.
It's David's fault.
Yeah.
Right? He went to get gas. He wasn't stationed right at the pump. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you pull in a little too far.
Yeah.
He went to straighten himself out. He tapped a gas station attendant that was doing his job, like wiping windows or something. Mm-hmm. Back when we had gas station attendants.
Yeah.
You know, and he bumped into somebody, into the gas station attendant as he was straightening out. Gas station attendant told him, be careful. Yeah. And David got out of his truck to fight the guy. David got a chunk taken out of his ear with a window scraper for that one.
Really? Good for that guy. That's awesome.
God, was it just because I'm a gas station attendant doesn't mean I'm going to let you just do me like that? Fuck you. I will kill you with this ice scraper in this bitch. Dude was like cleaning windows and he was like, no, fuck you!
Exactly. Chinless bitch.
I imagine it was something out of like Revenge of Popeye, which I've watched recently.
I need to get around to that.
Oh, it's done by the same studio that did Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. Good times. I also watched Piglet, which is from the same studio.
Nice.
Chef's Kiss.
Yeah, and Mickey is another one.
Or
is it Steamboat Willie?
No, I forget. It's something, Terror Mouse or some shit like that.
But they got the rights to that version.
But it is the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse that has lost its copyright. Mm-hmm. Also, the other day I watched, I can't think of the name of it now because my brain is slowly starting to block out the horror. But this really crappy action flick with John Travolta, Gina Gershon, and Quavo from the Migos.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Oh, and Lucas Haas, who looks horrible.
Oh, my God. Bless his heart.
Absolutely
I haven't seen him since Mars Attacks.
He was one of my favorite actors as a child.
Oh, yeah. He was so cute.
And we were the same age, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
Ooh. Lucas Haas looks rough. Anyway. So, yeah, he got his ass beat by a gas station attendant, lost a chunk of his ear.
Good for him.
To an ice scraper. Well played.
Yes.
And David is full of stories of how he saved a young woman from getting beaten by the father, or some young woman getting beaten up.
Just so stories.
He is filled with white knightism.
Yeah.
After a few casual dates, Jenny backed off from David because he's stark raving mad and she doesn't like this.
Yeah.
None of this feels good. It reminds her of the boy version of her sister Cindy. She wants none of this.
Amen.
Not only is David weird as fuck, but he started to get possessive. He started calling the Campbell house 4 to 5 times a day.
Oh, God.
Then, after all of that, he's calling the house 4 or 5 times a day for weeks on end. Right? So, like, from Christmas 78, let's say, until New Year's 79.
Yeah.
He's constantly called 4 or 5 times a day. And then he cursed out Maria and got himself banned. And now he's back? Fuck that.
Yeah. One thing. It should not have got to the point where he cussed out Maria.
He never should have cursed out Maria.
I feel like if it was my dad and there was some boy calling 4 to 5 times a day, every day, and I'm like, I don't like him, I'm not interested in him, Dad would have had a talk with him about, son, you can't call here anymore, you're not, well, like, it wouldn't have come to, like, verbally abusing a member of the household.
Yeah, I think that
that is pestering.
For whatever reason, her family was just content to let it be between Jamie and Maria. Jamie says, if this person calls, say I'm not home.
Yeah.
Just say I'm not home. And the parents don't seem to have intervened beyond that. Possibly because all of their daughters are in their 20s.
That could be.
But you're right.
Calling your house that much?
You're right. If I was
for a year,
if I was in this age group, even if I was in my early 20s, even in my middle 20s,
and you're still at home,
and I'm still at home and going to school, and some jackass boy is calling me like this, and I'm like, Pops, I am not into this boy.
Yeah.
I can't keep him from calling. Not only would my dad have words with him,
Yeah.
but my dad might have words with some of his brothers and some of my cousins.
Exactly.
And somebody less refined may deal with this crazy ass.
Yeah. I bet my family would mount up.
Yeah. So now Jamie's just like, I cannot have this around my life, around my social circle. David's already crazy.
Yeah.
Now David's crazy has found Cindy's crazy? Oh, fuck you. Right here, right now. Yeah. I'm not doing it. And that's when Jamie decided that she was going to follow some friends that she had met in Europe and go to school in Nashville.
Nice. Nice. Actually, I was going to, like, if I was in her position, I would just move to Europe. Just go to the UK, go to, like, the Netherlands. They speak English almost exclusively.
It just so happened that some friends that she had met in Finland had plans to go to university in Nashville.
Yeah, good choice. Get the fuck out.
And, like, these are people that she had met on one of their European trips and had met in contact with.
One of the ones that Cindy didn't stop or ruin.
Right, because Cindy was off having one of her misadventures during this trip. So Jamie's like, nah, I'm gonna follow my friends to Nashville. And you know what? Her parents did not stop her.
Good. They would have been the shittiest people ever if they had.
They did not stop her. They let her go. Love, peace, and hair grease, my good girl. This is all we got for you at this point. All right, you ready for some sad sacks and love?
I'm always ready for that. Every week. Well, every other week it's sad sacks and love.
There's a Beyonce joke in there somewhere. I just can't find it.
I would never dare call her a sad sack.
No, but the song Crazy in Love.
There we go.
There's a Beyonce joke and a Crazy in Love joke in there somewhere. I just can't find it right now. But by October 1980, Cindy had taken David up on his offer of moving into the spare bedroom of his duplex, making them officially roommates.
Oh my God. We're like roommate and project.
Yes, but she doesn't feel like a project just yet. Being roommates meant that Cindy and David are spending a lot more time together. And with that came the rumors of their sleeping together.
Ew. Ew.
They're not. Not yet, at least. But they would, they got a kick out of people of their filthy minds.
True. It's hard not to go there.
Yeah.
A lot of people would assume.
Yeah. And if they weren't, like, so weird and greasy, I don't think people would care. No. I think people are more like, oh God, these disgusting people ended up together.
Makes sense.
Or can you imagine how bad that sex smells?
No.
Cindy is disgusting.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game, David would tell you that there is no way in hell, heaven, or this planet, or the next, that he would sleep with a fat hog like Cindy. But he would never say anything so cruel to her face.
Oh, okay.
After all, David is raised to be a gentleman.
Okay, nice guy, TM.
Yes.
Right.
He's definitely that. And so from his perspective, Cindy is so fragile that the slightest thing could just drive her to tears.
Okay.
Because the version of herself that she is presenting is this frail, damaged,
Yeah.
abused little girl
Introverted.
that nobody's ever taken the time for, that at 25, 26 years old, she doesn't even know the basics about brushing her hair,
Yeah.
washing her ass. She knows no basics because
Yes.
she's been so abused.
She's helpless.
And that's where how he's seeing her. He thinks that the stories that Jamie told about her crazy sister are evidence of the Campbell family being fucked. Not of Cindy.
Okay.
He thinks it's the rest of the family.
That makes sense. He kind of has a grudge against her. Of course she would lie.
Well, because the rest of the Campbell family banned him from the house after he called their maid a stupid idiot.
Yeah, she won't date me.
And, how could anybody be so upset about offending the help?
No.
Honestly, that's what he's stuck on.
He's an idiot. He's a stuck-up idiot.
Very. But they did laugh about all the dirty-minded people around campus that assumed that there was something nasty going on.
Yeah.
And David was true to his word for the most part. He didn't come on to Cindy, and he didn't charge her any rent because he was doing her a favor in being chivalrous.
Okay. That's a big favor.
I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but David doesn't charge Cindy or any of his other friends that move in and out of his house rent. His house is a flop house for a lot of his friends who are a bunch of early 80s skateboard freaks, neo-Nazis, yada yada yada.
What?
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, God.
To put it succinctly, his friends are a bunch of ne'er-do-wells and a little bit transient. And he lets them all stay. He doesn't make them pay anything or contribute. He also doesn't do any real repairs or anything to his house. So it's a flop house. It's a mess. It's a wreck.
Yeah. Okay.
And low-key, he doesn't take care of his property because he resents his mother for forcing him to buy it in the first place.
Okay. Nah. Yeah.
Remember, his mother took his inheritance before he was in any control over it. Bought this duplex because she thinks of it as an investment property that he should be renovating that would bring him in money and, of course, keep him next to his mother's bosom.
Yeah. Ugh.
But he never wanted to come back to his hometown, let alone live in what is rapidly becoming the Texas version of Lehigh.
Oh, so he has a problem with the gays.
He has a problem with everybody. So, yeah, it's going to become a flop house, and mostly because he doesn't give a shit. And he's mad at his mom, so he may have no choice but to live here.
Yeah.
Because at this stage of the game, his house is too run down to sell. He doesn't make enough money to buy or do anything else.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole left lot in his inheritance to make a move.
Yeah.
So he's stuck in this house. But if he has to be stuck there, he doesn't have to take care of it.
True. That's one way to cope.
There. So David didn't mind having Cindy as a roommate, but he hated the neighborhood that he grew up in. Not only because his mother had forced him to live in this house that he did not want, as a way to keep him next to her motherly bosom.
Yes.
But the neighborhood was changing. It's in flux. Most of the white, middle, and working class families that lived in the neighborhood had left the area. And in their stead came the gays.
All right.
And with the gays came the gay bars. And with the gay bars came the hustlers, the call girls, the rent boys, the palm readers, all that hippy-dippy shit.
Witches and hippies and heathens.
The brunch spots,
Yay.
the nightclubs, all of that shit that
The boutiques.
for normal people are primarily harmless. But David severely disapproved of.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people that would say that he doesn't dislike gays, just don't do it in public.
Fine. Whatever. Main character syndrome.
Yeah, true story. When David finally had come to terms with the fact that his neighborhood had changed and what he had grown up with was never going to come back,
Yeah.
David decided that he needed to protect himself from the degenerate element of his neighborhood and started walking around armed with a gun or an army knife.
Oh my God. It's like, buddy, they don't want you.
They don't.
They don't want, no. Unless you're particularly beautiful, they don't want straight peen.
Which he's not, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he's... bleh.
Like, who wants someone who doesn't want you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take your different colored eyes and your weak chin and keep it pushing.
Yeah, weirdo.
The place didn't have heat. The toilet didn't have a lid.
Oh.
So you have to flush it inside the tank. You had to reach in.
Oh my God.
And pull the apparatus.
That is a
to
frat
flush.
house. Yeah.
The roof leaked. Some of the windows needed to be replaced, but instead of putting new windows, they were replaced with tinfoil and cardboard.
Jeez.
And this is what the place looked like after David had already spent over $17,000 of his inheritance on repair.
Oh my God. Well, he's really shit at finding contractors.
Honestly, this is passive aggressive revenge against his mother.
Yeah.
We already talked about how he got the house.
Yeah.
But I think his not fixing it is his passive aggressive way from getting back at his mother for forcing him into that house.
Yeah.
He's just not going to take care of it.
Now, who knows what plans he had for that inheritance? And then he turns his back for a minute and she fucking spends it.
Yeah, on something he doesn't want.
The place he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, so
That's changing all around him. Ah!
Yeah, I think him not taking care of the house is his passive-aggressive way of getting back at Mom.
Yeah.
But Cindy settled into her new and disgusting home without a word of complaint. Honestly, her greasy ass fits right in.
Right? I was going to say, this is a match made in heaven.
Match made in a grease trap.
Yeah.
And she was thankful that David had helped free her from her horrible family.
I mean, what? My knight in shining armor.
Greasy armor.
Mm-hmm.
While living with David, Cindy did have an elderly sugar daddy who stopped by on occasion. And when sugar daddy came calling, David would pose as Cindy's brother. Didn't want to put too much salt in her game.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy had once told David that the thing that she liked about her old sugar daddy is that he never made advances toward her.
No.
He's just a old greasy dudes with a lot of chest hair and a fuckload of gold chains that I guess just like having an equally greasy, weird looking young woman on his arm. Cindy had also once dated a Japanese French student for a few months at the school.
Okay.
He was Japanese and he was majoring in French. Or taking French classes. Cindy and this guy swore that they were telepathic with each other.
Oh, God. That is nutty.
And David hated this guy. And low-key didn't like the fact that Cindy would date somebody like this. One, David has no use for religion or anything spiritual. So them talking about how they're telepathic together and they can read auras and whatever other hippy-dippy shit that they were into is all ready on his nerves.
Yeah.
And while he didn't like to admit it, David was starting to wish that Cindy wasn't so fucking fat so that he could make a move on her. You see, David had a minimalist sex life at best. Yeah, I think minimalist.
I think it's well earned.
Yeah, like he's gotten 1 or 5 people to touch it, but not for long.
Yeah.
And only like once or twice.
And here she is, just living in his house, all available, but gross.
Yeah, and here's what's he likes Cindy personality-wise. He just thinks the misplaced confidence of it all. He just doesn't want to lower the value of his own stock by having a fat, greasy girlfriend. But he doesn't seem to realize how incredibly low his own stock is, which is funny. David had gone back and forth, like, dating some old high school girls, and he'd had a few adventures in the military, But no one ever wanted to stay with David for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, I don't even, women that dated him don't even say that he was like a good time for the month or 3 that they were with him. He's like annoying, and people are looking for, the women that did like him were looking for reasons to continue liking him. And he never gives you a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't say, well, I'm here because the dick is great.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Nah.
I'm here for the stimulating conversations. I'm not. All he does is monologue at people. You know?
Oh, God, yeah.
So, like, there were women that were attracted to him, or at least that he had dated and stuff, but they don't stick around, and he doesn't give them anything
Yeah.
to stick for. And this is probably because David, in addition to just being nice guy TM,
Yeah.
he likes to corner women that he's interested in.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, this is seduction, girl.
Ugh.
He's the kind of guy who's going to come over to you, corner you, maybe like put that one hand over your head like a bad 50s,
Yeah.
like teen romance.
Yeah.
You're standing in the corner,
Yeah.
leans up against the wall, his
He's
hand
James
over your
Dean.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to strike that pose.
Let me give you my best Marlon Brando.
Mhm.
Stella!
And then he would stare deeply into their eye.
No, thank you.
Oh, it's getting weirder. Oh, that's not doing it from you?
God, no.
Now from there, he's got you cornered. He's staring deeply into your eyes in a way that's very creepy, but he thinks is very sexy.
Yeah.
And then he would start the philosophy talk.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Everything from the continuing relevance of Nietzsche to Bismarck and Garibaldi.
Jesus fuck. The internet did not ruin men. Men were already ruined.
There is a subsection of nice guys, TM, that didn't need the internet to fuck them up. This is 1980, 1981, and David's doing this.
Yeah.
He did not realize how ahead of the curve he was.
I know.
He was an incel before incels were incelling. And if he was interrupted by anybody, including the woman that he thinks that this is seducing, David would get upset.
Yeah.
More than a few times, women quit talking to him because he was rude to waiters and bartenders.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
So he would be giving his speech. He's monologuing about the Bismarck, let's say.
Yeah.
And the waiter or the bartender comes over to the table. Can I get you anything else? This person's doing their job. They're supposed to check on you. Bring you more bread. Bring you water. Bring you a cocktail.
Yeah.
See if you want food. David would turn around and be like, excuse me. Me and the lady are talking. Bro.
I know. It's like, it's their job, you moron.
Yeah. And he would get mad. So if he's doing that to the waiter, the person who's literally doing the job of making sure that you've got what you need at a restaurant or at a bar, imagine how he reacts if the woman he's with is like, I don't think that way about Bismarck or whatever.
Yeah.
Assuming she wants to interject and she's not just bored to tears
Right.
because he's been monologuing Nietzsche for 15 minutes.
Let me tell you about the Uber bench.
I find Nietzsche interesting. I don't want some weird two-toned asshole with no chin to monologue it to me for 20 minutes.
God,
if I want to read Nietzsche, I'll read Nietzsche.
Yeah. I don't need your incorrect interpretation, your self-centered, egotistical surmisings on something you obviously didn't understand.
Right? Although I did see an interesting YouTube video the other day that was about the immaturity of Stoicism.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. It is so true.
That was like, no, the way these incel and incel adjacent people are interpreting Stoicism as I need no one and I have no feeling.
Yeah, I'm a robot. I'm a rock.
No one can ever hurt me. is the exact wrong interpretation
like,
of
to the point
stoicism.
of being like 180 degrees.
Yeah, I found that interesting.
I know.
But
you
David,
have to feel something in order to be stoic.
David would be mad. If I was having this conversation about stoicism, if I were to say to David West, I saw this really interesting video about stoicism, and the way he explained it is different than how we understand stoicism in pop culture. He would be mad because I'm pushing back on, or he would tell me I'm doing it wrong or something,
You can't say that. It's my whole personality for it to be this way.
And he don't have much of a personality.
Jesus.
David also hated cowards who wouldn't or couldn't protect their women.
Okay. Huh.
Cowards. To David, protecting women was the highest honor a man could aspire to.
Oh dear.
Only to lament that there were never many women around for David to protect. Yeah, because they're looking for different assholes to protect them from you. Save me from you.
Yes. Lord.
Yeah. He actually does get pretty mired down and sad that he can't find women that want the same kind of 1940s old-fashioned romance from the Ginger Rogers movies, or women that don't need a fainting couch when they see something improper, and they don't need him to come rushing in.
Delicate females.
Or if a woman is walking down the street near campus and some guy flashes her, she's comfortable and secure enough to fucking cuss him out her goddamn self.
Amen.
And they don't run to David for him to protect them from the flasher or whatever.
Yeah.
He's really bothered by that. Goddamn feminism.
Ruins everything. But in truth, the women that do want that protector provider thing, they would take one look at him and be like, you can't protect or provide.
That's what trips me out about a lot of the dudes that want that.
I know.
That trad wifey shit. They don't want to be trad dudes.
No, not at all.
They don't want to be trad dudes, but they want women to be trad wives.
Yeah. Not even that. They want women to contribute to bills. They just want the submission. They want do all the shit work, kiss my ass, and be submissive.
But that's not how it's supposed to go. If I'm supposed
right?
to be a trad wife, then I need you to be a trad dude.
Exactly.
I need you to trad, man.
Yeah, you need to earn 6 figures, and I need to never, ever worry about finances.
Right. You
fight all my fights.
Yeah. And David is very sad he can't find many of those women. But whether there are women to defend or not, David is always down for a street fight, barroom brawl, whatever you want. Problem. Regardless of what he'll tell you, David is not a competent street fighter.
I mean, he wouldn't have to tell me.
Now, if he were to tell you,
Yeah.
he's like, I used my military training and I went in and I left and I right and uppercut. Oh, you can. It's that.
My hands are lethal weapons. My feet are lethaler.
He is fleet of foot.
God.
The reality is that David's really more of a windmill guy than a finesse fighter. He wants you to think that he's coming in like Tyson.
Yeah.
But really he's windmilling you like an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah. Just button mashing.
And he just comes in windmilling with his little fists of fury. And as a result, he lost a lot more fights than he won.
Yeah.
Because when you windmill like that, what do? You're swinging your arms, you put your head down, and you close your eyes. And all somebody has to do is get out of your way, come up from behind you, trip you, and then shove your face in the dirt.
Yep.
Don't ask me how I know that specifically. But I do know that that's how you combat a windmill fighter.
Yes.
Get out of their way.
Yeah.
Trip them. And as they're falling down, then you can jump on their back like a spider monkey and have your way with them.
Yes.
probably happened to David a lot. And yet, David felt that fighting was an educational opportunity to go up against ignorant loudmouths and win.
Oh, God. Okay.
Teaching them a lesson. See, he's an enlightened loudmouth, right? So David can fucking loudly, drunkenly, and ridiculously monologue about Jung and Nietzsche all day.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But if it's just like a regular drunk going bleh, bleh, bleh down the street, then that's like a loudmouth. That's unenlightened. And I need to go beat that person up.
God. How insufferable.
That's why his sex life is minimalist at best. And the rare occasion someone does show interest in him romantically, he does not give them anything worth sticking around for. While David seems to be absolutely insufferable to me, you, and probably most people within the sounds of our voices, over time, Cindy began to admire him, no matter how misguided and stupid he was. And in turn, David started to see Cindy as an acceptable female to have in his company.
Oh my God. I think it was an In Living Color sketch, Lowered Expectations.
I think that was Mad TV, one of those two.
Yeah, Mad TV or In Living Color. It definitely wasn't SNL.
No. And there was like the people like walking towards a fence and the guy's like, whoa, this is a fence. Those were great skits. But that's what this is. This is some lowered expectation shit. When the pair watched TV together, Cindy was always full of awe and praise when David did his Star Trek sound effects for her.
Oh my God.
He fancies himself Michael, what's his name, from Police Academy that could do all
Wilson.
Yes. Michael Wilson from Police Academy, fantastic stand-up comedian.
Yes.
Master of 1,000 voices.
And Spaceballs.
Yes. I forgot about Spaceballs. I almost forgot about that one.
The sweeps, the creeps.
Yes. But 1,000 voices, 1,000 sounds, fantastically funny.
Childhood hero.
And David fancies himself on a Michael Wilson level.
Wow.
But the only sound effects he can do...
Winslow,
thank you. But the only sound effects he could do are Star Trek. So would he go... Whoosh.
I was going to say the door whooshing.
Yeah, that's it. Like, he can only do Star Wars sound effects. But if you let him tell it, he has the vocal mimicry of a Michael Winslow.
Delusions.
Yes. David would tease Cindy about the rom-coms that she liked, and she gave him shit about the nerdy sci-fi stuff that he's into. Oh, the banter.
Yes,
the banter.
Actually, she probably was good at the banter.
She actually is. When she wants to pretend to be something that passes for a normal person, she can convince you for like an hour. But eventually the nuttery will come out. But she can be convincing from time to time. And David likes that Cindy looks up to him.
I can see that.
Yes, they have other things in common. They're both sensitive. They're both intelligent, artistic souls who view themselves as victims of their own lives and families.
True.
And aren't afraid to share those victimizations with one another or anybody else that will listen.
All day, every day.
But what David liked about Cindy was how dependent on him she had become on his praise and his kindness. So no matter how small the kindness, Cindy was as grateful as a starving puppy for the tiniest bits of praise and affection.
The doormat of my dreams.
This made David feel needed, wanted, appreciated. Masculine.
Yes, I feel big.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's hard all the time now.
Yeah, but she's so fat and gross.
No one but his mother had ever made David feel so wanted and appreciated.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What in the Ned Bates? Why can't I remember his name?
Oh my
Is it
god.
Ed Bates?
Norman.
Norman Bates.
What
What?
is this Norman Bates?
What in the Norman Bates?
Like, who's Ed
Mother,
Bates? Ed
you
Bates.
love me the same way Mother did.
Ed Bates sounds like a Martin Short character.
It does.
Like Ed Bates is Ed Grimley's evil cousin or some shit.
That's hilarious.
That's what I thought of when you said Ed Bates. But yeah,
Norman Bates.
nobody's made David feel this good since Mother.
Jesus Christ.
Nobody appreciates and loves him like Mother.
Somewhere out there listening to us is a therapist going, ooh. Ooh. Oh, the billable hours.
Oh, right? In time, David begins to see Cindy as a project. But Cindy was a project that he's willing to crack it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do it. The slightest criticism would leave Cindy trembling and cowering with fear.
Mm.
And even though she's not contributing to the household,
Yeah.
David spent $500 to get her like a little tricycle
Yeah.
so that she can get around town the same way as Mommy does.
Oh my God. Okay.
His mom, Cecilia, has arthritis or something, or she had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
She had some sort of medical thing
Yeah.
where her driver's license is revoked.
Yeah.
And so she drives around town on an adult tricycle.
Okay.
It's got a little basket.
Yeah.
And that's
I
how she
haven't
gets
seen
around.
one. God knows how long, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. When David was a baby, she would put him in the basket in the front and just toot him around
Oh.
too.
Oh, she's been infirm for a while.
Yeah, she could do that with David. She has an older daughter from her first marriage, but that child is trash because she cried and never gave Cecilia the unconditional love that she felt she wanted.
Jesus.
Not David.
Christ.
From the minute he slithered out of her sniz, he was grateful. Happy, smiling baby
Yeah.
boy.
Mm.
And she was mother and father to him.
Yikes. Mother.
She taught him how to throw a
Oh
baseball.
my God, he's going to so preserve her in the
Took
basement.
him to scouts. All while his father is just sitting in his room with his jazz albums, dusty old books.
Yikes.
Yeah. So he got her tricycles just like Mother.
Yeah. God.
So that Cindy could get around. Cindy ran the bike into a bush and then she cried.
Oh, Jesus.
Cannot even get a tricycle done.
That's like one of those kind of things, like, I wouldn't believe it in fiction. But make that something I see on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she crashed her tricycle.
Jesus. Into a bush and cried.
Yes.
Into the crying bush.
That's
it's
right.
back.
Go to the bushes to weep. We all know this. You go to the bushes to weep. You don't necessarily have to crash your bike, but this is what happened. After that bike just sat in the garage gathering dust. $500 that he don't got, but okay.
Yeah.
Once, when David pointed out that Cindy didn't use the scrubber to wash the dishes, and the dishes she said that were clean were still greasy,
Yeah.
she's just stopped doing dishes altogether.
Oh.
Well, if I can't do him to his satisfaction, he's going to be mad and tell me that it's wrong. I just won't do it.
God.
Since criticism and any kind of, air quotes, negative feedback didn't work on Cindy, David reached deep into that Psych 101 class his junior year of high school. Maybe that Psych 102 class he took at the military academy before he went off to basic training. But he dug deep into those two classes.
Pavlov, don't fail me now!
And he decided that unconditional positive reinforcement is what Cindy needed.
It's something.
David would stand Cindy in front of a mirror and tell her, hey, you're chubby, but you got a lot to work with here. You don't have to stay disgusting.
Yeah.
You have fantastic hair, which, true-ish. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say Cindy had beautiful hair. Long, dark brown hair about to her waist with some like 80s-ish, later on some 80s-ish highlights. Mm-hmm. It's thick, it's full, it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, when she brushes it, washes it, combs it.
Right.
You know, that's a story for another day. Earlier, David's mother had to teach the bitch how to comb her hair.
Wow.
She has pretty hazelish, like brownish green hazel eyes. Mm-hmm. Naturally long eyelashes that are about a little over an inch long. They're so long, people think that they're fake.
Yeah.
And then when you get close up on, you're like, oh no.
Yeah. All natural.
You're just one of those freaks. And then women want to punch her out, rip the lashes right off of her eyes, because how dare you? Because I got to blind myself to get lashes like that. Yeah. And this greasy bitch doesn't even give a shit. But here we are. She has a flat tummy, so she's chubby fit.
Okay.
Like, if she loses 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
She'll be fine. So she's chubby, but her tummy is still flat. Mm-hmm. We know some people like that, the chubby fit.
Yeah.
And she has some nice nips at her waist. She's a decent waistline. Mm-hmm. David said all Cindy needed to do was to work out, eat better, and just try to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
And if you could do that, you could be fan-fucking-tastic. After a few sessions, Cindy agreed to let David run her life and put her on a path of health and wellness.
Okay.
That's
the
right.
road to Wellsville. Here we go.
And David is in charge.
God. White knighting like he's never white knighted before.
It's like a hard W.
White.
It's a hard
Especially
W.
with him. White.
It's like white knight.
Knight. White knight.
Like even the incels were like, bruh.
Like, calm down. Simp, cuck,
beta.
Beta.
This is a bit much. Yeah. Like, relax. Scaring the hoes over here. Yeah. So he put Cindy on a diet plan and made her walk across their house with a book on her head to improve her posture.
Oh my God.
And in time, Cindy would drop the weight. She didn't have a lot to lose, 20, maybe 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And by the time the weight was off in January 1981, Cindy had lost enough for David to be like, you know what? You're more than just a project. You are now a suitable partner.
Yeah, you're a goal.
And with that, David decided it was time for him to introduce her to his mama.
Mother. Oh my God. Psycho. That is so Freudian. The mother stuff. He's going to introduce her to mother.
Yes. Because she's the only other woman that's made him feel loved and appreciated.
This is like two really strange boy moms in a row now.
Cindy and Mother. Mother and Cindy. But that is where I'll leave you.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I need to gird my loins before we get into Mother.
And on that note, I've been Samara.
And I've been Jeannie.
And this has been Talk Deadly to Me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, feed the algo.
Yay. Nom nom.